So it's that time of year again. Spotify Wrapped has just dropped, and I thought I'd make a quick little video on my Spotify Wrapped for this year. I know it's kind of memed on at this point that people don't really care about your Spotify Wrapped, but I generally do find it quite interesting. So I thought I'd make this video for anyone else who does find it interesting, and yeah, please feel free to leave your Spotify Wrapped in the comments below as well. I'd say this is probably my 6th Spotify Wrapped in total, I'm pretty sure, and I've actually managed to find the screenshots over the last 4 or 5, so at the end of this video I might compare them, you know, see how my habits have changed over the years. But if I had to make one prediction straight away, I'd definitely say that I think my top artist is probably going to be Arctic Monkeys, because it always is every year, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. But I would say I've been a bit more diverse in my music this year, and I've listened to a lot of new music, so I'd be interested to see what happens with my top songs, my top artists and things like that. Okay, so I've got my Spotify open. I'm going to turn it down a little bit because they usually are quite loud. And yeah, let's get it going. Okay, so number 1 is rap. That's actually quite surprising. I wasn't expecting it to be rap. I feel like this is probably the year where I've listened to the least rap. I've literally not even got around to listening to the new Kendrick Lamar album yet. A lot of that could be JID, to be fair. But yeah, rap number 1. That's quite surprising. 2, rock. Again, it's quite a broad genre, isn't it? Like, what is technically rock? Because I suppose you could put the likes of Arctic Monkeys and Upper Thieves into rock. Indie pop 3, that's not surprising. 4, pop, that is a bit surprising actually, but again, that's quite a loose term, isn't it? And 5, indie garage rock. Okay, interesting. Okay, 56,000 minutes. I definitely don't think that's my most. I think I've definitely done a lot more, but yeah, that's quite a lot, isn't it? That is quite a lot. It's more than 95% of other people in the UK. Yeah, I mean, that is quite a lot. I don't know the actual maths as to how many days that is, but yeah, that is that something to be proud of? I'm not sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so I played it 83 times in the last, what, 3 or 4 months. Yeah, that was just one of those songs like right time, you know, right place, right time. And it has pretty much been on repeat as well. I also play it on guitar as well, so that's probably fudged the numbers a little bit, because yeah, I do try and play that once a day, something like that. But if you haven't checked out this song, absolutely incredible. If you haven't checked out Feng Suave, incredible band. I'll probably be doing a video on them in the future. They're just so good. I saw them live a few weeks ago and they're absolutely incredible. Definitely check them out if you haven't already. Okay. 4,825 songs. My top songs, okay. Okay, that is quite interesting. Yeah, I suppose if you've listened to Agony by Beach Fossils, you're probably looking at me thinking, is everything alright at home? But yeah, 3 Lord Huron songs. Yeah, I would say that's quite a depressing lineup of songs. That's not a very good reflection. But you can see the album behind me there. Where is it there? Lord Huron, probably my favourite album of all time, and again, all 5 of these songs I do play on guitar as well, so that probably does budge the numbers a little bit. But yeah, those 3 Lord Huron songs, again, if you haven't checked out that album, definitely recommend it. Honey There's No Time, number 1, Agony, number 2, number 3, Where the Time Go, 4, 20 Long Years, and 5, What Do It Mean? Yeah, again, quite surprising. I definitely feel like I've listened to a lot of Lord Huron this year, definitely. But the fact that Agony is number 2, that is quite interesting. Bit of Genesis. Okay, we'll check that out when we've been through this. 2,093 artists this year. See, I thought I was going to be a bit more unique than some of the ones I've seen so far. But yeah, Drake. What did that say? How many minutes was that? 2,262 minutes on Drake, and top 1%. But I feel like everyone's in the top 1% of Drake. Like, I've seen so many stories of people saying the top 1%. Like, we're already on 99%. I feel like everyone's in the top 1%. But yeah, again, a bit disappointed that it is Drake, but at the end of the day, in my playlist, I've got so many Drake songs, because his discography is so large. Like, even if you only like half his songs, there's so many songs, and they're constantly coming on your playlist, so that's not really a surprise. Plus, he dropped, what, 2 new albums this year. Yeah, I can't stop listening to Jimmy Cooks, which is one of the only bright sparks from that album. I've still not released a reaction to that. I've got it, I just need to edit it. I've just not had the time really, but yeah, When that reaction comes out, you see how I truly feel about the album, but I think we can all agree that, you know, it wasn't great, but Jimmy Cook's right at the end, that did save it. And there's the obvious Arctic Monkeys coming in. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a theme throughout most of my Spotify Wrapped, and we'll take a look at the rest in a minute, but for some reason Kanye West always just managed to sneak into my top artists, which is weird because I never really go out my way to listen to Kanye West really. The only time I ever really do it is maybe to listen to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I usually listen to that on vinyl. So it's really weird how Kanye always seems to come into my playlist, because he doesn't really feature on too many new songs. He doesn't release that much new music anymore, but for some reason every year he's like in my top 5. Number 1, Drake. We knew that already. Number 2, Arctic Monkeys. That's probably the first year they've not been number 1, to be honest. Number 3, Lord Huron. Yeah, the thing is, I've not even listened to most of Lord Huron's albums. I've just listened to Long Lost on repeat pretty much every day for the last year or 2 years. Kanye West, number 4, and then The Strokes, number 5, which is another strange one because I love The Strokes. They're one of my favourite bands, but yeah, I never really go out my way to listen to them. It shows that there's so many in my playlist, I suppose. Okay, a bit of The Voids. Pink Ocean. Brilliant song. Time to meet your listening personality. Okay. So look, The Adventurer. You're a seeker of sound. You venture out the unknown, seeking for fresher artists, deeper cuts, newer tracks, especially gems yet to be found. Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, that was my Spotify Wrapped of 2022. A few shocks here and there. I personally thought I actually listened to a lot more minutes than 56,000. I pretty much listen to Spotify like when I'm working, when I'm doing my uni stuff, just anytime I've got downtime, I just listen to music. So I'm quite surprised it's that low. I thought it'd be a bit more than that. And the whole rap thing was a bit of a shock as well. I feel like Drake's always going to be in the top 5 for most people, again, because his discography is just so big. And yeah, but it's nice to see some sort of different songs in the top songs there, especially because the top 2 I only really discovered halfway through this year. Okay, so now we've gone through the Wrapped. I'm just going to quickly look at my top songs of the year. I think these are in order, so let's just have a look, see, you know, where some of them rank. You've got the top 5 there. Teddy Picker. Again, another song I play on guitar, so that's a bit, you know, probably a bit misconstrued there. I don't listen to it too much, but obviously when I'm playing guitar, it'll play. Ain't Gonna Call Yellow House. That's a really good song. If you haven't checked that one out, if you haven't heard of Yellow House, definitely recommend as well. It doesn't have too much music, but what he does have is really, really good. Money Will Chase You by the Grogans, another great song. Running Wide Open, Coma Cinema. Monsoon, Hippocampus. Baby Baby by Sports. Everybody Going Crazy, Nothing But Thieves. Lord Huron again. And yeah, just a lot. Most of these songs are songs I actually play on guitar. As It Was isn't a song I play on guitar, so that's one in there that is probably one of my most listened to in general. You Should Probably Leave, Chris Stapleton, that's a really good song. But yeah, most of these are songs I play on guitar. She's Always a Woman, that's a really good song. Yeah, not too many shocks really. There's just been a lot of songs that have been consistent over the years, like Honey Sweet, Used to Be My Girl, Pink Ocean. I've been listening to those for years and never really get sick of them. So yeah, it's no real surprise that they're in there. So as I mentioned earlier on in the video, I thought it'd be quite interesting to go through my previous Spotify wrap-ups over the last few years and just see how it compares to the one I got today. Just if you find that kind of thing interesting, I think it might be quite an interesting look. But yeah, so I found the 2016 to 2019 sort of overarching roundup. I think this was from like a couple of years ago, maybe 2020, when they gave you like a decade. They'd done like a decade wrap-up or something, if I remember correctly. Okay, so this was 2019. It actually gave me the wrap-up of the minutes that I've spent listening on each year. The reason 2016 is so low is because I didn't actually get Spotify till I think it was like December, end of November, December that year. So I only had like a month worth of listening, but I think 5,000 in a month is still quite a lot anyway. Yeah, I think this year was 58,000 minutes. We'll check that out in a minute, but I think it was 58,000 minutes. Yeah, definitely not my highest. 2019, 61,000 minutes. That's quite a lot of time spent listening to music, but you can see it grows every year. Yeah, the wrap up from 2019, again, Arctic Monkeys, Drake, Strokes, same as this year, but ASAP Rocky going in there as well. I did go through a bit of an ASAP Rocky phase. I'm always in an ASAP Rocky phase because his music's incredible. But I did go through a definite phase where I just strictly listening to ASAP Rocky and all his features and things like that. And then the Black Keys as well, which is a bit of a weird one, but you know, why not? Top songs: Pink Ocean by the Voids, Someday by the Strokes, Num Num Juice by Schoolboy Q. I think that was the year that Crash Talk came out, which was another great album. Heart in a Cage by the Strokes and Modern Age by the Strokes. So yeah, definitely Strokes dominant, and again, rap, the most popular genre there. So this was my 2020 wrap up, and yeah, Song of the Year, Run by Joji. I distinctly remember listening to that for the first time, watching the music video, a really cool music video, but I was absolutely blown away by this song. It's actually the first I've heard of Joji. I hadn't listened to his previous album before this, and yeah, that was on repeat for months and months and months. And yeah, it's actually how I discovered John Denton, another reaction YouTuber who kind of inspired me to do all this kind of stuff. So yeah, a lot of good came from that song, and you can see the top songs there is Everybody Going Crazy by Nothing But Thieves. Lovely song. Alright, number 3. Alright, it was during lockdown, right? It was a weird time, and I watched the Blues Brothers for the first time, and for some reason I was just completely obsessed with the song, the theme from What Raw had. Don't know why. I haven't listened to it for a very long time, but you know, like I said, lockdown was weird. It was a weird time. Waterloo Sunset by the Kinks, that's another weird one, yeah. Another one that I kind of play on guitar and stuff, but a really, really beautiful song. An old song, but really beautiful song. And then Elephant by Tame Impala, bit of a classic. Top artists, again, you got the 3 main artists that are always in it. Arctic Monkeys, Drake, Strokes, and JID, which I was quite surprised to not see JID in my wrap up this year, because I've listened to a lot of JID. Obviously his new album came out, The Forever Story. That video reaction will be on my channel sometime soon. I'm just editing that now. That was a fantastic album. Surprised he actually wasn't in my top 5, because I have listened to a lot of JID this year. And the Black Keys staying in there. Yeah, if you look to the right as well, main genre that year was rock. So rap, rock seems to be the sort of dominating theme for me. Then we have last year, and this is the introduction of Lord Huron. You saw on my one this year, 3 Lord Huron songs. This was the one that kickstarted it all. Actually, I think this one was released as a single way before the album came out, and I knew about Lord Huron because of The Night We Met. I think most people do. It was in my liked on Spotify, because what I do is when a song's released and I'm interested in listening to it, I add it to my liked, and if I like it, I put it in the playlist. And it was sat in my liked for so long, and I kept not avoiding it, but I was like, I'll get around to that one eventually. And I just remember listening to it, and yeah, I fell in love with it straight away. It is such a beautiful song. Yeah, I'm not surprised that's my number 1. I'm surprised it's actually not in my top 5, because I do listen to that one a hell of a lot. Labyrinth by Surf Curse, a really underrated Surf Curse song actually. Obviously they're known for disco and freaks, but yeah, Labyrinth is a really, really good song. If you like that kind of Surf Curse music, indie alternative kind of music, definitely check out Labyrinth by Surf Curse. And Lover of Mine, another quite underrated beach house song from a really good album. Again, bit conflicting, because I still do play it a lot on guitar, so that's probably the reason why it is there. But yeah, a really, really good song, Beach House. Number 4, Hosier. If you're a fan of quite laid-back music, definitely check out Hosier if you haven't already. Talk isn't one of his sort of most popular in the album, but definitely one of my favourites. And then Teddy Picker sneaking in. And the top genre for that year was indie rock. Yeah, top artists, Arctic Monkeys, big surprise. And yeah, again, the top artists, they're very consistent throughout the years, you know. Kanye West in there again. I just never have a Kanye West song in my top 5, but he always seems to be in my top artist. But I think it's just because he's on so many records, a bit like Drake. He's just got so much music on Spotify that you inadvertently just end up listening to him anyway. And then we have this year's one, which we saw earlier. Big shift in the top songs. No sort of Arctic Monkeys in there or anything like that. Straight up Lord Huron, Beach Fossils, and Feng Suave. But the artist pretty much stayed the same, just kind of snuck Lord Huron in there. And yeah, top genre rap, which again I was a bit shocked about. I didn't think I listened to that much rap. There's a lot of sort of albums that I still need to listen to. I will get around to doing that. And yeah, no Pusha T in here either, because Pusha T, his album was one of my favourite albums of the year, and there's no sign of Pusha T anywhere, which is a bit of a shock. So that was my Spotify wrapped up for this year, and nothing too out of the ordinary, kind of what I was expecting. The artists pretty much stayed the same. Songs were a bit of a surprise really, 3 from the same album, and yeah, but nothing too embarrassing, which is always good. Maybe apart from Agony, Beach Fossils, if you know the song, it's the Young Lean cover, but yeah, you know, sometimes we'll go through it and we need that song. So yeah, that was my rationale for that one. But let me know in the comments, what does your Spotify wrap-up look like? I am genuinely interested. I want to know your top artist, your top song. Most importantly, how many minutes did you spend listening to Spotify? Did you listen to it more than me? I don't really want to convert my 56,000 hours into days to find out how much time I spent listening to music this year. Honestly, I don't regret any of it. I love listening to music. And speaking of, there's going to be a lot more content coming out on this channel in the next few weeks and months. I've been very busy with university work and things like that. Once that's done and wrapped up, I'll be putting a lot more content out there. I've got a World Cup video coming out soon. I've got loads of Christmas themed videos coming out, sort of ending the year with my top 30 songs of the year, top 30 albums, all that kind of stuff. That's all coming out. And there'll also be a lot of reaction videos, tier lists, all that kind of stuff. So if there's something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice day.